Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first ever You're a Schmo. You like what we did there? Quite catchy, right? So we started this channel because we thought it'd be really nice to have an after show for the Schmoedown, which is on a European time zone. We welcome everyone to this channel. If you're American, you're welcome. If you're European, you're welcome. But we noticed there wasn't any shows which were a good time for Europeans. So we started this channel for all of European fans. So let's get straight to it. Season 8 is here. It kicked off this weekend, and what a way to kick off. But before we get to the matches, as it's our first show, I thought it'd be really nice just to get to know us all. So we're going to start with some introductions. So as you can see by my little banner, my name is Liam. I am from England, and I got into the Schmoedown back in the Collider days when I first did it in the Collider studios. My favourite ever competitor was Clark Wolf, and then it became Rachel Christian when she came into the league. I love seeing Clark's rise, and then Rachel just was amazing, and I hope one day we'll to see her back. But that's a brief introduction from me. I think we're really good to get to know us all, so I'm going to pass over to Matt. So if you can tell us a bit about where you're from, how you got into the Schmoedown, and who your favourite competitor is.
Thank you, Liam. So I'm Matt. I'm coming from Croatia. I'm a Croatian fan, so maybe I will see Gucci someday. Also, I did start in a Schmoedown in a season 2, but I got a real Schmoedown bug when Sam Levine did his famous two ultimate tournaments run, when he became the champion, singles champion, and teams champions with the above the line. And because of that, Sam Levine is still my favorite competitor. I'm really sad that he isn't in Schmoedown anymore as a competitor, but I understand he's a busy man. So he is my favorite competitor, and doing some type of after show like this was something I really wanted to do for quite a long of time. So I'm happy with it.
Thank you, Matt. Teresa, tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Teresa. I'm from Czech Republic and I found Schmoedown through Screen Junkies. I was really into movie fights and Dan is just amazing in everything he does. So I followed him to Schmoedown and watched his first match with Kempia. And I stayed after. I watched more and more. It was at first really hard to get into the whole character stuff and storylines and everything, but now I get it all and I love it all.
And Ben.
So I'm Ben. I'm from South Africa, so not completely European, but yes.
We'll steal
But
you,
I got
Ben.
into yes. So I got into Schmoedown last year when my favorite competitor Liz Shannon Miller was on her amazing Ultimate Schmoedown singles tournament run, and I was really upset when Adam Collins beat her, but he's a great champion. But I think Liz Shannon Miller is going to be an even better champion this year.
We shall see. It's quite nice because we've all come in at different times and all have different favourites and things like that. So I think let's get into it, guys. Okay, season 8 is here. War
The war is here.
begun. What a start! What a start to the season. Friday's PPV was. Now, obviously, we have Laura Kelly and Mollie Damon to talk about, but surely we have to start with the IG title match. Mara Konopik, Chandru Dandapani. Now, I'm just going to say, right off the bat, sorry, Mara, okay? I underestimated you so much. I love Mara. I really love Mara. I was rooting for her, but I just did not think she was going to get close to Chandru. Chandru has been on fire his last few matches. My God, was I wrong? Mara looked unstoppable. I was shocked. 2 years away. It's as if it was as if she was competing last week. Let's just start with that. Who wants to jump in?
Well, I will if you let me. I was also the one of ring rust people who didn't believe she would win. I also was rooting for her to win. Uh, Her match was phenomenal. I think that if there is some new fans who started to watch Schmoedown this year, it's a great introduction to Schmoedown. It had a storyline, it had a great match, it had very fun questions. So the thing that surprised me the most is the new categories. I was very pleased with the new categories. And yeah, it was very surprising. I didn't expect her to win. The first match went exactly as I thought it would. We will talk about it later, but this one surprised me. The sheer number of new categories when you see them on the wheel is quite something. So we all heard from backstage and the group the new categories that will come in the Schmoedown, but it's not the same when you see them on the wheel and in a round one when they start asking those questions and competitors must answer them. If we are going to be honest, the only stumbles Chandru had were in the new questions, so new categories. All the old categories he knew. So I think that this year for Indian Geekdom will be a very fun one, and the competitors we know as a powerhouses maybe won't be anymore.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to talk about the new categories a bit more in depth because I think that is going to completely change the Kingdom League this year. We saw its effect on game one, and we'll get into that a bit later. But I just want to hear from Ben and Teresa overall thoughts on the match.
I'm super excited. I didn't think that Mara will have any trouble with ring rust or that she will have, I don't know, she will underestimate Chandru or she will not prepare enough for the categories because she was away for 2 years, but she still lives with them. It's not a normal situation where a competitor takes a break and he doesn't follow the league anymore. She knows all about it. And I don't think she would put herself in a situation where she wouldn't be able to win. She's just too smart for it. So I was pulling for her really hard and I got really emotional when she won because it's just everything I wanted. I cried a lot. I cried a second time when I watched it. It's everything I wanted it to be, and I think it's amazing start for the season.
I am completely with you about getting emotional. I was sitting here and I was like, this is Schmoedown.
Yeah.
Why am I crying? It was just her shouting, Dan, Dan, and then they
Yeah.
embracing. It was really powerful and a beautiful moment. Ben, what were your thoughts?
Almost rivaled the I1.
Yes, yes. It was nice because obviously earlier in last year we had Dan with Mara in the Ben Bateman match, and now it's the other way around. So, but what were your thoughts overall, Ben?
I love this match. I think there's a definite divide between the people at the top and the people at the bottom because we did not doubt Mara. I knew she would come in with fire. I knew she would. Hearing everything about her relationships with the Schmoes, I watched her one-on-one interview with Christian Harloff before the match, and you just hear that she knows what she's doing. She knows movies, she knows trivia, and she's a competitor of note.
Absolutely agree. And I remember her saying, I think it was on Rundown, that she is planning on going into Star Wars as well this year. And when she said it, I thought, do you know what? I think she'll do well. I don't know if she's going to be top tier. I don't know anymore, to be honest.
Yeah,
She could be. Alex Damon better watch out. You know, I think it would be nice to talk about the new categories because I think they really, really played a huge role in this match. And I think we saw PJ Campbell on backstage last week talking about the new categories, but I don't think I realised how much of an effect it would actually have. And the two slices they got in the wheel round were both new, weren't they? So I think Mara got swashbuckling adventure, which I didn't even know what that meant. So I was so shocked when those questions came up. And Chandru got graphic novels.
Yeah.
So many new categories, and I think it's a really, really important addition to the league. And I actually think it really benefits those competitors who maybe play in more than one league. I think you're talking about your Mikes, your Chances, your Eric Zippers. I think they have a massive advantage now because a lot of these new categories were things they probably would have studied for in singles and teams. So we shall see. I think we saw the effects it had on Chandru, who is a solely IG focused player.
Yeah.
He's now got to learn 100 new more movies. And
Yeah.
I don't think
But
to do it.
also, we shouldn't forget that now those Innergeekdom players can put Innergeekdom slices on the wheel. And that's the thing that Christian said, that's why he wanted to do it, because now more Innergeekdom players can go to the singles, because now they have their special categories they can clean the house with, because probably the singles questions for Innergeekdom for some Innergeekdom player should be easy in theory, but of course, like everyone always says, it's a matter of perspective. So I for example played along with the Innergeekdom match, and for me personally, the graphic novels questions, because I watched all of those movies, but those questions were a little bit harder in my opinion, just for me as a person, than adventures questions. But that's only me, of course, and every person has their strengths and preferabilities. But yeah, that's the way I saw. So now Chance can put something like, I know, Superman against someone like Snyder, and
Yeah.
this will be a
is someone I worry about now because
yeah.
he has openly said how much he is not a fan of the IG League. And obviously last year people couldn't really use that against him because couldn't put the categories on the wheel apart from the one IG slice.
Well, first game they did, he lost on a Harry Potter category.
Exactly. So as amazing as Snyder is, I do think that could trip him this year if he was to go against an IG category on the wheel. Although I think he has a good enough knowledge of the basics, which might be on his level. We'll have to see how it plays out in the season. But I'd love to hear Ben and Teresa's thoughts on the new categories.
They said on backstage that the level of difficulty of the categories in IG and in singles will be very different. So I'm not sure if it will be that much of a difference for Snyder because, like he said, he has a great base knowledge. Maybe something like Lord of the Rings, where even the easy questions are not really easy questions, or Star Trek or something like that could trip him. But there's also the fact that the competitors will pick 3 categories and only get 2 of them this year. So I'm not really sure. I was betting on Dan before. I would do it even if IG categories went there because I think he's just better in singles than Snyder. If it would be a teams match, I would probably no. I would still bet on Dan. Sorry. Dan is my favorite, and after last year, what everything he managed to accomplish,
Okay.
all of his matches were like sudden death, and I don't know. I just believe in him really.
And he's got a great faction now as well with his partner on it. And well, 2 partners. He seems like he's going to team up with Ben, and obviously he's got Mara as well, which can definitely help him with the IG slices. But Ben, what were your thoughts on the categories?
I like him. I was a bit nervous when Mara spun Swashbuckling Adventure, and I saw Kaiser's face, and he was going, I don't know if that's right for you. And Mara just went, well, I've never been on a Swashbuckling Adventure, so let's go for it. I thought, oh no, this is where she loses. But she was up there, and I really enjoyed the the gameplay. I think if it comes to singles, Schneider could be in trouble. But when it comes to teams, Mark and Draco is a comic book writer. He's a nerd. He is going to kick butt at IG categories. So
Yeah,
even if he
that's
loses
true.
in the singles, he's still going to be a beat in the team.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if someone picks like Transformers or something like that, I don't know.
I think John Roca will be pleased, and that's about it.
That seems harsh to make the IG competitors watch those. I'm really sorry for them. I know like Dan and Mara are not fans, and
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of worse movies than Transformers in IG category. Like
Oh, I
Chandru
don't
said, no, like
I would-
Chandru said, did you watch that Son of the Mask movie?
I haven't
No.
seen it. No.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Chandru gave us some warning, didn't he?
Yeah, don't do it.
I've got to take his word for it.
Yeah, I watched it. It's not
I
good.
I watch all my movies with Dan, and he's done a Transformers film, and he said it was Mara who got the DVD. So
Oh.
I have a feeling she likes them ironically, which could really help her in the
Yeah.
IG league.
Yeah, you're right. I think I was a part of his Patreon for a while, and he talked about Mara's weird love for bad movies. So
It's really
maybe it will
helpful
help
for the
them.
league, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. Also, guys, the round one in your Gifton was very surprising, and I was very impressed with all the competitors. I am happy that no one got the perfect round because there is a new questions, and that's the first glance I could see. Oh, so Inner Geekdom, it's not the same this year. Something changed because let's be honest, in the last couple of matches, it was if you're not perfect in a first round, there is a very big handicap on you, probably 2 point handicap in the most matches. So when I watched the championship match and in the first round, no one had the perfect round. I was on this is gonna be an awesome match. So this is different this year. That was the first glance of a difference this year. I think that the writers did a very deep dive in the Schmoedown and in the questions because I know they like that the questions were matches were very competitive and questions were like that. In many cases competitors did had a perfect round and something like that. But I think that they will this year take the Rachel advice. I call it Rachel advice. That they make one or two questions a little bit harder, so that you really earn that perfect round. I know that Rachel was a very big vocal person about that one, and I agree with her. So I hope that this will be the case in all the divisions, singles teams in your geekdom and the Star Wars. But let's be honest, it's hard to trip someone in Star Wars in the first round.
I was going to say, I think it's quite nice now that Inner Geekdom has opened up because
Yeah.
we were seeing a lot of perfect rounds in that tournament. And I think Star Wars is where we're going to see perfect rounds more consistently now. And we'll get to that match in a minute. I do want to cover one other element of that match, which is something very interesting. And it does play into the Laura match as well. What's going on with Winston, please? What's
the
going
storyline.
Something
Yeah.
fishy's going on.
It was funny at first, but in the end, I was heartbroken. It was like watching a breakup happening live on TV, and Winston cried, I think, and he seemed really sad. Genuinely, I don't think it was like all character work or something. It seems Chandru is really pissed. It's weird because he was big. He was his biggest advocate last year. And Swag was one of the tightest factions, so it seems crazy that it like all broke down this fast. But I also think like Ace could do it too, right? Because he could be angry at Winston. You never know about Lon Harris. So is his whole faction gonna hate him?
It'll be really
Yeah,
interesting to see.
yeah. I think that this will be a swag storyline this year. So I thought it's only Laura Kelly storyline this year because of the first match. But when I saw the Chandru doing it, and they can tell me whatever, I know that Chandru and Winston are tight and good friends, and they like to play with each other because Winston did call Chandru the general of swag, that he actually did the study session with everyone and stuff like that. So I don't believe that for real the faction is falling apart. I think that's some great storyline Christian came up with, and I commend him if that's the case. I commend him for that. It's awesome. So you have Ace, who didn't get drafted before Laura. You have Laura, who doesn't want to be on the swag. You have Chandru now, who lost the championship under the swag. So you have Lon, and that there was speculation that Lon won't get drafted because people thought he would take maybe Paul and Liz with Chandru. But so you have capabilities here to make that storyline. So I must commend Christian and all the team. If that's the storyline, I really liked it. I just laughed. I laughed so hard when I saw Laura. She was great on camera. So it was great. And Chandru was for me a little bit less realistic, but it was funny still. Chandru know how to be funny and make me laugh. So I really enjoyed all the aspects of the match, storyline included.
Obviously, we expected it from Laura. We know she wants to be on corruption. What was shocking is then when we got it from Chandru as well.
Yeah.
It would be really interesting to see what happens in the final exam match, to see if they're also going to be on this train or if they're going to be supportive. We'll see what happens with that. And I think the Zipper's got a match as well. He's now on swag as well, isn't he? So,
and maybe he can be angry that he stole him from Kaiser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good angle, actually. Yeah. I
also
have
also Vinny. Also, Vinny, he crossed a lot of people this year. But I'm just saying, I think that's some truth to that, because Winston does have a new job, and he said openly that he doesn't have that much time. So maybe there's a little bit in Chandru that's kind of pissed off that he didn't support him as much as he could.
I wonder if Winston is trying to transition out because of this new job, and this is how they're playing it. Which would be a shame if he has to go, but obviously we understand if he's got to work. I wonder if maybe Jay Washington will come back to take over swag or something like that. It seems like he's doing a lot more recently. He was in the Black Cinema match, which was really fun. If you want to watch that, it was a real fun match. But we don't know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We spoke about Laura Kelly. I think maybe it's time to talk about the Kelly Damon match. And wow, she is incredible. She did a perfect game, wasn't it? I don't think she missed a single question.
No, she didn't.
Character work is brilliant. When she said, "Are you done?" I laughed so hard. It was so funny.
Or when she said just okay.
I love this angle, and I love how she came on with the corruption shirt.
Yeah,
brilliant.
And if you watch the comments, Shannon was on fire. So Shannon broke him in the comments. It was awesome. So yeah, that match wasn't surprising with me, but it was awesome. It went exactly as I think it should have gone. But yeah, I'm speechless. Yeah, when I'm thinking about it, the way Laura plays. So if someone wants to win a championship, I would show them that match and tell them, if you play like this, every match you win. not just that she knew everything, she was so flat. So she knew why she was here. I'm here to win. I'm here to play. I can do character work. I can do everything, but I'm concentrated on the match and the questions. I will know everything. It was special. I think this match is one of those special matches. I knew Laura knew a lot and she could be a champion, but I don't know if you had that experience with some other players in Schmoedown. When you watch some match and you say, oh, this person is special. She 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 or he got something, that it factor. So I saw it on Laura this let's say Friday for Americans. It was Saturdays, 2 in the morning for me. So yeah.
And I think Mollie played really well. She just
Yeah.
went against Laura, who
But
was just unstoppable. Perfect. You can't beat perfect, can you? And that is what the Star Wars League is now. If you miss one question, chances are you're probably going to lose the match. So it's so competitive in that league. I mean, look at Laura's tournament run. She missed one question against Aiton and she was out. You know, I saw a stat that she now has the highest accuracy rate in the Star Wars League. It's even better than Alex Damon's, which says a lot about Laura. And
yeah.
I see her getting the title. I really do. I just think she looks unstoppable at the moment. Ben, we haven't heard from you in a while. What were your thoughts on the match? Ben?
This is
Ben,
the
are you
year of
here?
the ladies, as I've been saying.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't hear that, Ben. What was it?
Sorry, I said this is the year of the ladies, as I've been saying on the Facebook group for a while now. I think this is the year that many ladies, not really step up, but they show what they have the potential to do. And between Mara and Liz and Mollie and Laura, and even some of the newer ladies, I think we're going to see some big matches and some big championships from the ladies this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm guessing you're not rooting for the Finn Stock Exchange then, with their having only drafted 2 ladies.
Yeah. I just want to
Teresa?
say. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Matt. I just
Go for it. Go for it.
wanted to hear.
So I just want to say, to go on what you said, Liam. So Molly was good, but in Star Wars, you have to be great. If you want to go to the semifinals of a tournament or finals, good unfortunately is not good enough. You have to be great. The only thing you can do is miss maybe one question, maybe, and that's a big maybe, unfortunately. And it's not fair for people who prepare so much, because I think that people are not really capable of doing the kind of preparation. Not everyone can do kind of preparation Star Wars players must do, because they must know every single detail, and it's not only the movies. That's the difference. So that's why I think that someone like Mara should give herself at least a year, because I don't know if she actually read the novels and stuff that actually they ask about, because they sometimes ask about things that didn't happen on the screen, or some name that didn't pop up in a screen. So, but yeah, unfortunately, in Star Wars, you must be great. Good is not good enough. If you want to be a champion, if you want to be a tournament finalist, if you want to have a number one contender shot, it's not fair. I really feel for that players. I'm not a good Star Wars player. Let's be honest. I'm not even a decent Star Wars player. So I feel for the people who. I'm sure that Mollie studied hard and put a lot of work. So I was sad for her because I think she will be a champion one day because she is really hungry. When you see how she talked about the Schmoedown on the match and in some other shows she's on, she's really hungry and she really liked Schmoedown as a game. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my thought on Star Wars.
Don't underestimate Mara again. I think she just proved with all the new categories, and you could tell from her like post interview that she still has some problems that she's dealing with. And when she was like, I was listening in hospital, I am listening in the shower, I'm like doing all of this work, and she's so devoted. I don't believe that she like, maybe she won't won the championship this year, but I think she is ready to win some matches in Star Wars.
Yeah, I
And
think so too.
I also think Mollie will train her really well. You could see already from these first matches, like how cohesive the dungeon is and how they work together. And they talked even about the new people like John Howie, who is also a Star Wars player, getting invested in those matches. So I have a really good feeling about dungeon as a whole. I really liked the match. It wasn't much stake for me in it because if Molly won, I would be happy, and if Laura won, I would be happy. But I really liked the character work from Laura. It was amazing. The T-shirt was amazing. Her glasses, everything. I think Molly also played great. I think even in Star Wars, like it's a crapshoot until the 5-point winner. You don't know what you will get. So I wasn't sure who will win the match until the last question. But both ladies played great. I think it's really amazing that we got like 2 matches that were so well played. Like it was one of the best pay-per-views I think we got like ever. No knockouts, no TKOs, like character work on point, everything. So I'm just very happy about what happened Friday.
It's just a fantastic start to the season, wasn't it? And if that's what we have in store for this year, it's going to be a hell of a year. And we're getting so many matches now, so it's very exciting.
Also, just to say, I also think it's the year of the ladies. I have to say it. 3 amazing ladies in the first match. I'm like so happy about it. So yeah, girl
And,
power.
Go on, Ben.
and in the Expo match as well, 2 amazing ladies in there. This is the year of the ladies.
It's lovely as well because it's building on the legacy built by Clark and Rachel and all the others at the time, Gray Drake and everyone who started. And they're not in the league anymore, Gray is, but Clark and Rachel, who were such advocates for women in the league, are not in it anymore. But it's still, the women are doing it for everyone, and it's great to see. So Teresa, you spoke about a bit about the dungeon. I think that leads us quite nicely to our next topic. So the draft was a few weeks ago, and the free agency as well. So we're not going to deep dive into every single player in the draft. I just think it might be quite nice to get everyone's take on who we think had the best free agency / draft and who had the worst. Hard to say, but we love everyone, but we got to have our takes. So I will pass it off to someone else to start. Matt, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I'm still struggling with it. I'm still not sure, but I think I will go with the corruption. I think that corruption did phenomenal job. She when I say she, I mean the queen of corruption, did an excellent job in actually free agency signings, because we can say that Marisol wasn't a free agent signing, but she was signed by the Den and then traded. But let's be honest, the one that brokered that deal was Shannon for sure, with Marisol and with the Den. and they did awesome. So they did get Chandru, no, excuse me, not a Chandru, Chance. They did get Mike, who has a number one contender match. Don't forget that. Also, they got Chance. They got Adam Collins, who is right now, let's be honest, seen as the unstoppable force. He actually beat Dan in a sudden death that didn't happen yet until Adam did it. I don't think it happened. Teresa will probably know. But yeah, so they did get Adam, who is awesome. I think everyone should be scared of him. Actually, I will be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow actually managed to still be champion in the end of the season. Because Dan almost did it. So I think that Adam has that capabilities. Yeah, they did get the scrimshaw, which it was a awesome get for them. And when I look at the top players for each of the leagues, I think that they have the most complete faction in all of the Schmoedown, because they have actually two three division players, and apparently Adam Collins can also put his head into the inner geekdom. So if that's the case, they have three division players. Also, they have Scrimshaw for Star Wars, and he did lose on a technicality against the man who actually now has a number one contender shot in the Star Wars.
Title shot, isn't he?
What?
Title
Like a
shot, yeah.
title shot.
Yeah. Yeah, title
It
shot,
should-
not number one. He's number one contender. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was trying to say. Yeah, so I think Corruption probably has the most complete team, but on paper, when you just glance through it, I think that the Dungeon is the obvious, for many people, obvious pick. But I would go with Corruption, because the more three division players you have, the more points you can get. The faction race is about points, how many matches you get, not if you have a champion at the end of the year, but how many points did you accumulate in the year.
I'm just going to jump in quick because we didn't discuss this beforehand, but my pick is also Corruption. I might be a bit biased because I love the Queen of Corruption and they were my favourite faction last year. Even when they were losing, I was a Corruption fan from the start. But the one issue I thought they might have is Star Wars. And then who did she get? Joseph Scrimshaw. And that probably for me the best get of the whole draft for that stage, because I think he's such an underrated player. I know his record is not great, but if you look at his accuracy rate, it's one of the best. And like you said, he lost to a technicality. I think he went perfect in that game, and then it was just
Yeah,
technicality. So I think that was the best.
it was Vader Guff. Yeah,
I wish that was the finals. That was the best match of like the whole tournament.
And it was round one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was crazy that was a round one match. So yeah, I'm not. Matt's pretty much said everything I was going to say, but for me, it's Corruption. I also think I loved some of the other picks. They got Mark Hoyk back, who I think hasn't quite had his shot yet. He did really well in the horror free for all. I thought he was going to win that, and then he just sort of came at the end. It just didn't go his way. But I think he had the best accuracy rate in that free for all. I think he got the most questions right. I might be wrong on that, but he was really strong. He had a really strong showing. I think last year he was teamed up with Elliot, and I like Elliot, but I don't think he's the same level as Mark. And I think if he could get paired with someone at a higher level, I think in the teams he could be someone to watch out for. So I really liked Shannon's draft. She also got Clea Wiggins, who I'd love to see what she does this year. We just saw her in the Expo and she did really well. So that was my pick. I just want to hear from Ben and Teresa now. Who do you think had the best free agency / draft?
Ben, you can go first.
I'll let Teresa go first on this one. She
Okay,
looked
so
at
it's hard to go against corruption after last year, and they got almost all the same players, right? So and they exchanged Laura for Scrimshaw, but I don't see that that as a big difference. And their new players, Sean Sullivan seems to be so fired up on all the after shows. James White is angry, and I think he will suit well with corruption. So I get you too, and I also love Shannon. But for me, it's probably between Dan and the dungeon. I really like this new attitude Kate has, and she's hilarious as always. But it seems that faction, even before the draft, was working together and doing like mock matches between Preston and Gathered, and I think they will be a really tight unit this year. And Dungeon, we just saw and heard all about how they work together now. They have so many great players. Like after seeing Mara play that game, I think the only one I believe can get that belt of her is Robert Parker. So Dan Merlo, what he did last year, if the point system was as it is now, he would be one of the MVPs of the whole year. Mollie Damon, she may be lost, but I still think she has a big value for the dungeon. Video Drew is amazing. Whitney Seibold, I really hope they form a team. I can imagine the entrances and they would be awesome together. So yeah, I think I'll go to dungeon. I wasn't sure until now, but yeah, I'm gonna pick the dungeon.
I love the idea of a Video Drew Cybold team. I hadn't thought
Yeah.
of that. I just think that'd be the wackiest team and but strong
but-
as well.
Yeah, they could also be really good. Like Video Drew, the last match of the season, like her last match, she went perfect. Whitney has such a great knowledge. Like they could be sneaky good. Ben, are you ready?
Yep. Yes. For me, it's very difficult to pick because I have my favorite player on one hand, then I have my manager, or my pick for manager of the year last year on the other, but then there's the Den and Swag, who even though Swag is having their drama, they had a beast of a draft. Let's be honest here with Laura Kelly, Eric Zipper, Jen Kemp. I think they got. Correct me if I'm wrong. They got some amazing players, and I think if Winston stays around, it will be a hell of a team to beat, and they could be at me. Though I have to go with the Den. The Den are amazing. I love Ben Goddard. I love Paul Preston. I love everybody in that team, and there's no one that I can say, oh, she didn't pick right. I love Saul even. I think he'll be amazing in this year, and grab some real big points. So yeah, my pick is the Den.
I just want to say, sorry, that if we made like the hard picks, like who I wish, then I would go with Quirky Mercs. Like I love Koi and Shazam. And I love Demalanta. I really hope he will take that belt. So, but I just believe in Kaiser and the Dungeon more. But if I could pick the team that I would most want to win, it would be the Quirky Mercs.
Yeah, for me, I understand, Ben, what you're saying. So Harper, for me, is a big threat in Star Wars. He is a Dragon Con player. When you hear him talk about the Schmoedown, and I would like to say Ben Bateman approach to the game of the Schmoedown. That's very scary. Someone who knew that a lot about some category, in this case Star Wars, and has that kind of approach to the game. So I think that Dan will be good also. But for my heart, as I said, Sam Levin is my favorite competitor. So I would really like if Usual Suspects could take that championship for Usual Suspects faction, and they had the potential. I must say they had a really good Star Wars player in Marie Wilson who won DragonCon this year. They had Amaru Moses. He's a fan leaguer, as you know, inner Geekdom player, and maybe they had the best singles free agency from all of the factions. I don't think that any faction got the better deal as singles and teams than Usual Suspects, because they got three great players in singles and teams. So they got Liz, who shown herself as being someone who's been reckoned with. As you all said, this could be
Teammates
a
up
year.
there.
Yeah, also, yeah. But as you said, this could be a year of the ladies. And they got Ethan Irwin and Drew McQueenie. I think that everyone sleeps on Drew McQueenie, how good he is. Everyone forgot, probably. But I would be scared if I'm Ben Bateman after that call out in a free agency.
I just want to quickly get everyone's opinion. Do you team up Liz and Ethan and Drew, or Drew and Liz? Personally, I go Ethan and Liz. It's a hard one.
I'm looking at the other names, and like they should have two teams automatically, but I don't know who the fourth person would be. I think Ethan and Liz probably have like better rapport between them. They are friends, and maybe that will like play into it. But also Drew McQueenie is great at teams, not that great in singles, but he is an amazing teams player, and Sam has a soft spot for him, obviously. I think either Ethan and Liz or Drew and Ethan. Drew and Liz just doesn't make sense for
Yeah,
me.
I agree. I think it'll be one of them too. I don't see Drew going with Liz.
I would like to be Liz and Ethan, but I think it will be Drew and Ethan. I actually think that Liz and Ethan would complement each other better, because I think that many of the strengths of Ethan is the strengths of Drew's as well. So I think that Liz and Ethan is a way to go. And if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Usual Suspect got one of the fan leaguers who was in
They
a
got
singles.
Amaru Moses, who
No, one more
Uh,
of
It's
them.
Frankie Alvarez. Is he from the
Yeah.
fan leagues?
no.
No.
He is a singles player, but I don't know if he's from the fan
Yeah.
leagues.
So
They also got Jacob Wittenben.
yeah.
No, that's
So
IG.
but let's be honest, we don't know what will happen to the teams this year. So
Yeah, that is true.
Oh,
think-
they have Stacey Howard. So
yeah, they
that
have
would be a
Stacey.
good
So
second team.
yeah, actually, Drew and Stacy also cover each other's bases, I think, pretty well, because Stacy knows all those rom-coms and maybe younger movies for a little bit younger people, and we know that Drew McQueenie is a godfather, 80s master, and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be also a very fearsome team, in my opinion. Stacy and Drew.
A few years ago, Drew partnered with Brienne in a tournament. I think it was the corruption tournament. I might be wrong on that. And they played really well because Brienne was able to cover some of the weaknesses of Drew. I think Stacey and Drew would kind of be a similar pair up in that I think she would know a lot of the things that he doesn't. I want to see Liz and Ethan. I think Ethan brought Liz into the league. I think they're very good friends. I think they'd have a good rapport. But I do think he's going to go Drew and Ethan.
Yeah, it's like the heart and the mind. In my heart, I also wish for Liz and Ethan, and I kind of wish for Drew and Stacy now, because I think those two would be like two strong teams and maybe more evened out in their knowledge.
Yeah.
I wonder with the IG how much the IG categories are going to play a role, because if they do play a huge role, Amaru Moses, I don't know if you guys saw the backstage episode where he was on. He was up there even with the normal singles categories, and he was able to play that even. So he could be a beast if the IG categories play a huge role in that.
We don't know a lot about him yet, but you could be right. Maybe he could be the other option for that second team's partner. I think it might be quite fun because we're heading towards an hour. I think what might be quite fun to do is, rather than going to detail, just give me the team who you think had the worst draft. We'll just say the team and nothing else. Okay. So I will start. I have a feeling we might all say the same, but I will say I think the Finstock Exchange had the worst draft, and I'm not going to say anything else. Ben, who are you going for? Ben?
I think he could turn out to be a genius, and we could all be wrong.
One word, Ben. One word.
Go with the stuff.
Yeah, I must actually. I'm sorry, Liam. I have to use one word. I don't think that. I don't think that we can fairly assess Finstock Exchange as it is, because we don't know. We don't know. We even don't know how JT is now. So we don't know that. If we are going from the past, JT is a great player. He did well in a free-for-all. He was a team's champion. He did well with Lon, and he was actually in the singles finals before he got himself into that famous car crash. So, yeah, he's a great player if I'm going from what he did. And all the other players in the Finstock Exchange, except Barbarian, who is great player. Also, John is a great player. But all the new players in the Finstock Exchange is just one big question mark. I don't know anything. So I don't think it's fair to say that they had a worst draft, because we honestly don't know anything. We just don't know.
Okay, you make a very good point. I'm just going off face value. If I had a gun to my head, I had to pick. That's who I'm picking.
Yeah, me too. Then it's obvious. Yeah.
And I hope they do. I hope they'll probably end up winning the whole thing.
Well, just don't say that. No.
Yeah.
That's too far.
You can imagine if that happened, the next year's draft, it would be rookie.
Yeah, but it's not gonna happen. Like, they might discover one or two people who are really talented. But I still think they should have mixed it a little bit, like get like two seasoned players and then the rest of it to be rookies, to have someone to explain like the rules and the strategy and everything, and someone with experience. So yeah, I would also go Finstock Exchange. I probably wouldn't call it the worst draft. I would call it the riskiest, most risky draft.
That's a more PC, polite way of putting it. So we'll say the riskiest draft was the Finstock Exchange.
Yeah.
So as part of this channel, I'm going to move on to our next segment now. We are going to have a prediction league. Now, obviously, our first show is today, so we missed out on the first PPV. But starting from when the matches begin in a few weeks, we are going to each week be predicting who we think will win each match, and we'll keep a tally. Obviously, next week we haven't got any matches, so what we thought would be quite fun to do today is just give our pick for which faction we think will win. I don't know how you want to do it, guys. I'm thinking, do we all have to pick a different team, or can we pick the same?
I think that we should we could pick the same.
I think we should pick different and go like in the way we did in our draft, fantasy draft. So it's more like
No,
it's more
I
fun,
think
right?
it would be awesome if we actually took maybe not for the factions but for the matches, because when we predict matches, it's only 2 players, so someone must pick the same.
Yeah,
And
obviously the matches that's gonna
yeah,
happen.
I
So-
think that it would be a nice thing if we could had a piece of paper or something and write it down and then show it to the camera so everyone can see who we pick, so no one goes into our head and change our minds who we should pick. So I think it should be just saying who we think that it will win the faction race this year. I know I already know who I think will win, but yeah.
I have a post-it note which I can write on. I don't know if everyone else has anything available.
Yeah, I have one too. Also, yeah.
If we're doing it that way, I think it's fine because we will have.
So now we pick a faction which
Yeah.
we
Yes.
think will win the whole year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
finding a pen.
Not stressful at all. Why?
Okay. This is when someone writes Finstock Exchange and shocks us all.
I hope someone will do it.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, I have mine ready to go.
I have mine also. Ben, do you have a piece of paper with you?
No, just 1 minute for Ben. I
Okay.
think we'll do 5, 4, 3, and then we'll reveal at the same time. I have a feeling we might have similar answers, but that's fine.
And
Yeah.
we should do it every month because I believe my opinion will change next month. It's really recency bias.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's why it's fun to do it now. So we cannot do it in the last week before spectacular. He will win because mathematically he will win.
Okay, Ben, are you ready? All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I already saw.
All right. Ready? 3, 2,
2,
1.
Okay.
Okay. There is
Oh,
3.
I'm only one going dungeon. Nice.
Yeah. There is 3 corruption and 1 dungeon. Yeah.
I was close, very close to going dungeon. But I actually want dungeon to win, part of me, but I just love them too much. I have to root for my girl, the queen of corruption,
Yeah.
Shannon.
Shannon is pretty amazing.
I can't not.
I just wish I could root for only one team, but it's really hard. Like I can't even pick between dungeon and the den, and then there's everyone else, and I just love everybody. So it's really really hard to pick one team.
Corruption is my favorite heal team, and suspects are my favorite face team. But I think that, in my opinion, as I said, corruption had the best draft and free agency. In my opinion, it would be, in my opinion, stupid if I think that they had the best draft and the free agency not to pick them. So I really, really think that they will win. I know, in my opinion, Adam Collins can do no wrong. I think he will be even scarier this year. And Chance has a big chip on his shoulder about singles and teams. So I would be scared of him too. So yeah, corruption.
Yeah, but it wasn't like.
Well. Sorry.
Go. No, go.
I was just gonna say, I'm really excited for Marisol this year. I think she performed really well in her matches. I think she lost to Poor Yama, which isn't exactly anything to be ashamed about. And I actually think in their teams matches, I think she played better than Adam. I know that might be a hot take, but she, I noticed in a lot of the matches, which made me laugh, Adam kept going, what do you think, Marisol? I don't know if he knew and he just wanted her to say it.
He
Or
said, I think he said somewhere that they had like 2 questions he could ask, and one would mean he knows it, and he asks her if she knows it too, and the other, it was like code. And I was like the whole time like, do you know it? Don't you know it? But they had code words and it was in there somewhere.
I'm just so pleased they're back together, because I obviously when Marisol wasn't kept, I worried that she might end up on another faction and we wouldn't see any more of Deception, which I think could be an absolute killer team. So I'm really pleased they're back. And I know Marisol's got a match coming up. I'm rooting for her. I wanted to see her go on a run this year. Her and Perry Nemiroff are I love Perry. I've just always followed her. They're my 2 people I want to see like just shine this year and have an amazing run. I don't know about everyone else.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, Adam Collins can do no wrong. He was really amazing last year, but it isn't like he beat Dan Merle like badly. It could go either way. It was a sudden death match. I still believe Dan can win against him. So I also want Brandon Meyer to get this belt this year. So I think Dan can do it. I think he has Bateman by his side, which is only like better for him. I think we saw what Mara can do, what Mollie can do. She didn't win, but I think she can be killer in a tournament. And they should be like 2 tournaments this year for Star Wars. And they have just so many amazing players. I think they will do it this year. I think like Dungeon will go from the bottom to the top in 1 year.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a quick hot take. I think Shazam and Deception are going to be in the Spectacular facing each other for the tag team belts this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I could see it.
Matt?
Well, that's a quite some predictions for you there.
I wouldn't bet money on it, but I like it would be pretty entertaining.
It's very early, isn't it, to know what's going to happen. I'd love to see Final Exam get the belt. I think I do think they are a very, very good team who just fell short a couple of times last season, and they have got a number 1 contender shot. So we'll see how they get on. It'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting match. That I think they're playing Shazam, right? Am I right in thinking that?
I'm not sure how they will do it. Do you know?
Well, teams are going to be a while yet anyway, but they do have that in the bank. We'll see what happens. But I don't know about everyone else, but I think that could be the end of our first show. How are we feeling? It was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed watching. As I said, we welcome everyone to this channel, but our theory was that for a lot of the European fans and South African, Ben, I'm not forgetting about you. Some of the after shows are on at a time, which is when we're sleeping. So we thought it might be nice to have one which can be watched by Europeans and Americans. Obviously, we're not biased. We take everyone in. So I just want to say a massive thanks to you guys. I really enjoyed doing this. And we'll be back next week. I don't know if you want to say anything, guys, before we wrap up.
Yeah, I would just like to thank everyone who watches this video. If you liked our content, give us a like, maybe put on a comment. Also, if you have some suggestions for the teams we should cover, you can put it on the comments. Someone will read the comments before next week. So thank you, everyone. I hope people would like our show. I hope people will watch the show. And yeah, good night. For us, it's a good night. For you, it's a good day if you're watching in America. So, Schmoedown forever. We are Euro Schmoe.
Euro Schmoe.